The cost of living continues to get more expensive.
A lot of people were kind of on the edge of affordability previously, and now
What does financially distressed mean? It means more people are struggling to pay their bills, searching for payday loans.
Does America feel great again?
No, not at all.
You just can't afford to breathe at this point.
Especially as a father, because you ain't got that extra cash to go and spoil your kids.
The America we grew up in, bruh, my generation.
Drill, baby, drill just didn't go, I don't think.
It's bad enough as it is right now being a conservative in a liberal state or a liberal in a conservative state.
Conditions of our lives are getting worse as stuff gets more expensive and the American dream becomes more unobtainable.
I have a master's degree and I'm bringing home $4,200 a month.
It sucks because that's not even a livable wage.
I think that it's worse now.
And they considering a six-figure income now lower middle class.
Something has changed in America, and you don't need an economist to tell you that. You can feel it at the grocery store, when the rent is due, when you open your insurance bill, and when your paycheck dissipates faster than it used to be. Have you guys noticed that? And if you are new here, make sure you subscribe, comment, share, and like. And let's check out this video.
The cost of living continues to get more expensive. The latest Consumer Price Index report, which measures the changes in cost for a variety of goods, shows yearly inflation jumped more than 4% in May. That's the highest increase in 3 years. Food, energy, and shelter costs, which measures housing expenses, have all gone up in the last month.
a lot of people were kind of on the edge of affordability previously, and now energy costs and these kind of economic inputs are becoming more expensive.
Surprise, Florida just ranked as the second most financially distressed state in the entire country. Only where Texas is worse. It's not just an opinion, this comes straight from Google data. So what does financially distressed mean? It means more people are struggling to pay their bills, searching for payday loans, rent help, credit card relief, you name it. They are going to Google for help. And Floridians are struggling to survive here. And let's be real, it's not just hard to see why. Rents in Florida have skyrocketed. Groceries and insurance are completely out of control. Wages really haven't kept up. Families are working 2, sometimes 3 full-time jobs and still can't get ahead. Meanwhile, Florida politicians brag about cutting taxes for the wealthy and corporations while everyday people are drowning. And in Texas, where things are even worse, it's the same story. Leadership that ignores working class struggles while protecting big business. Now, this matters because these states are often held up by models of economic success. But the reality is people are just being left behind, and the data proves it. If the so-called Florida model is leaving people broke, maybe it's time we rethink what success really looks like. Be sure to follow along for updates.
Does America feel great again?
No, not at all. You know, I can get laid off tomorrow, then I'm pretty much homeless. Because, you know, you can't save now. Every dollar you have has to go to gas, groceries, bills, rent.
Does America feel great again?
Not in the way everyone wanted. With gas prices, and you can't afford to breathe at this point.
What does it feel like to be living in these conditions right now, in these economic conditions right now?
Hurt, very hurt. I try to do, sorry, I cried. I try to do a lot for my kids, and I can't do much.
It's hard, especially as a father, because you ain't got that extra cash to go and spoil your kids. So it's pretty difficult.
The middle class is definitely being affected. Yeah. Low class might as well, crawl in a hole because they can't afford anything. Drill, baby, drill just didn't go, I don't think.
You still can't beat inflation, no matter what. Well, it seems we never catch up, no matter what. We're always behind the 8 ball.
How many of y'all agree that the America we grew up in, bruh, my generation and the generation, well, obviously the generation before us, it's gone, right? The days where you could come outside, go to the store, get you like 4 or 5 items for $1, maybe $1.25, it's over with. The days where your rent was $500, $600. You could work one job, feed a whole entire family, and be able to get a car. Over with. It's crazy out here, bro. And it's sad, bro, because a lot of us wasn't taught about, inflation and cost of living rising, and a lot of us wasn't taught a lot of things about life, you know? But I'm there, yeah, I agree.
People keep telling us inflation has cooled, so why does every trip to the grocery store still feel so brutal? This is part 2 of my series on how America built a food system that gives us expensive groceries, unhealthy food, struggling farmers, and enormous corporate profit. And here's why grocery inflation feels different. Our housing payments remind us about inflation once a month, but groceries remind us about 3 times a week. And then there are specific foods that we care a lot about that are rising far faster than inflation. Number 1 is beef, which is up 12% because climate change has accelerated drought conditions, making feeding cows more expensive. And this has combined with increased global demand in beef as the rest of the world becomes richer. Number 2 is coffee. Coffee crops have also been disrupted by extreme weather driven by climate change. And then fresh produce, some of which must be picked by hand, is absorbing a lot of Trump policies. Tariffs, which impact imported foods but also make things like packaging more expensive. Immigration enforcement, which has increased the cost of farm labor, not to mention the cruelty of the enforcement. And fertilizer and fuel costs, which have increased from the war in Iran. And then we add the government cut to SNAP, and you see how stressful feeding our families can be for some of us.
I think we're heading towards a new America, and this is going to be one of the biggest changes. Each state is going to gerrymander, and that means if you're the minority political party in your state, you have no representation. I mean, you'll basically be living behind enemy lines. And who the hell wants to live like that? It's bad enough as it is right now being a conservative in a liberal state or a liberal in a conservative state. But it's about to get much worse, especially without any representation for your beliefs. Only thing I want to know is where the hell is a libertarian state going to be? Because I want to try some freedom.
We're tired of stuff being so darn expensive and the government being ineffective. Eggs cost too much, and my taxes don't help anything. Yes, we completely agree. The material conditions of our lives are getting worse as stuff gets more expensive and the American dream becomes more unobtainable as the wealthy and ultra-rich concentrate power and wealth among themselves. It's almost like we know the exact group who is to blame and we can work together against them. This is clearly the gays and the trans' fault. Oh, come on, what the fuck?
So they're saying that this is how much it costs to live comfortably in each state. And they considering a 6-figure income now lower middle class. Who would have thought that we really would reach a time where somebody walked up to you and said they made 6 figures, you want to put your hand on their shoulder and say, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. You're going to make it. You're going to overcome this. One day, just keep praying and believing and keep working hard. Who would have thought that, y'all? You mean to tell me to live comfortably? Let's just say you could, for an example, you got 2 married couples. The husband and the wife got to make $200,000. Got to make $100,000 a piece. Household income of $200,000+ to live comfortably in the United States. I believe this. Look at the gas prices now. Just look at the freaking gas prices, man. Everybody out here ain't balling. Everybody out here ain't got it. I just spent almost $70 filling up my tank the other day. $70-something. The average person can't afford to pay that type of gas to fill their tank up.
People are not lying when they say that the job market is tough right now. I have not interviewed or applied in 5 years, and I think that it's worse now with maybe 7 years of experience than it is when I was trying to get my first internship. So, good luck.
$4,200. That's what I bring home as a teacher. I've been teaching 24 years. I have a master's degree, and I'm bringing home $4,200 a month. I have daughters who depend on me to support them, to provide for them. Everything around me has gone up. My rent has increased. Gas prices just outside of Philly are astronomical. Grocery store prices. And my daughter loves Crew. She wants to be a rower in college, and she's really, really good at it. But it takes funding, right, to get her, coaching and support and training that she's going to need to advance in that sport. And I would love to be able to support her and provide for her and support her dreams. But on $4,200 a month, paying my own rent, financial responsibility for everything, it's a little hard to do.
Y'all, I'm sitting at work and I'm scrolling on Indeed or whatever like that. And I came across a job. It was a director job, and the pay rate was $19. The job market is so like criminal, because why do you think I'm directing anything or anybody for $19? Like, and it sucks because that's not even a livable wage. So the fact that's being offered for a director position. And I'm not saying some people can't live off of that because they literally have to, and it's not their choice because of, what the economy is. But I'm saying, though, why are we offering $19 for a director position? Like we have to make it make sense. Like that's the problem I have with it.
Can somebody please explain to me why there's literally nothing that's middle class anymore? Like, you gotta live in trenches, or you gotta live real high, pay thousands of dollars a month.
So, my lease is about to end, and, I'm apartment hunting, just looking around. And I haven't been apartment hunting in so long because I've been in my current place for about 2 years. And now that I'm looking, I'm like, oh, this is what they talking about. I'm looking at 1 bedrooms for $2,000, $2,100, 2 bedrooms, $2,300. I would never pay that for an apartment. I will never. And I know a lot of people keep saying, just get a house, get a house. It's not that simple, buddy. When you have a house, your base mortgage could be $1,600, but all the other stuff you got to pay on top of that, you're paying a lot more than that. I know people paying $2,600 for mortgage, $2,700 for a mortgage. No, I'm not doing that right now. And then you understand property taxes, HOA fees, all that stuff that adds up. Having a house is not cheap. It's very expensive, and you need to be financially well off to have a house. And most people are not financially well off, and they have houses and they're house poor. I don't want to be that person. Baby steps. Now, I'm thinking to myself, there's no way I'm paying that much for an apartment. But at this point, I have no choice. I had set up an apartment tour, and God be speaking to me. I set up an apartment tour. I knew something was off because the prices were a little down there. This morning, that same apartment complex I set up a tour for, they said someone got shot and killed this morning. Tour canceled. And my prayers go out to whoever the victim was. But yes, tour is canceled. I'm not about to go get an apartment someone just actively got killed at. So next option. At this point, it's looking like I might have to pay $2,100 for an apartment. I seen these one apartments. They were beautiful, gorgeous, in a good area. $2,200 for a 2-bedroom. I think not. I don't know what I'm going to do at this point. I have absolutely no clue what I'm going to do. I don't want to move to the hood. I don't want rats and roaches. I don't want shootouts, and I don't want my car getting broken into. I don't want to live in a nice area, but I'm damn near broke every paycheck paying for rent. I don't know what to do.
And maybe I've lost the plot, but I have to pay for my car, pay for my car insurance, pay for my car maintenance, pay for my gas to get me to my work location so I can work and get money and just pay for all those things all over again the next month. What the? It's like it's just a circle. I'm not understanding.
I am so freaking sick and tired. Being a single mom is dang near impossible. My rent's past due, power past due, car note past. Ever since I lost my job at the hospital, I can barely keep my head above water. The amount of responsibility is insane on one person. All the cooking, all the cleaning, all the bills, all the back to school shopping. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I've got a daughter with a birthday coming up, then another one in September, then another one in October. That's a sweet 16. And I can't afford anything. I've never felt like such a freaking loser. I've never not been able to pay my bills ever since I got divorced in 2019. Never not been able to pay for my bills. Now I'm trying to make a better life and get my education and move on up in this world. And nothing's ever been worse. But I'm doing so good in school. I feel like I should just quit and just go back to work, and maybe this isn't the right time to go to nursing school. Everything is so high. Gas is going back.
I'm 41. I've worked for the same company for 15 years. I've worked hard, I've got promoted, I've climbed the ladder, and yet still I sit here drowning in debt. Is anyone else realizing that traditional path of working is not adding up anymore?
Second, so I got a $3 raise. So now I make more than 3 times the federal minimum wage, right? I make $25 an hour. Minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Now, with that said, since I make $25 an hour and I work 40 plus hours a week, that means that 30% of my gross income is about $1,200 a month. That should be how much I can afford in rent. So I tried to put together like a little budget for myself to see how I can make it to where, because that's my gross income, 30% of my gross income. That's before taxes. My income after taxes is literally $2,800 a month. Okay, so apparently I can afford $1,200 a month rent, not including utilities. Off $2,800 a month. Okay, cool. So I put all my bills together. I did $1,200 a month for rent, even though, guess what? You're not going to find a single place for $1,200 a month in my area. You won't even find a studio for that much. Like, people are renting out like rooms in their homes where you share a bathroom with them for over $1,000 a month.
I work 80 plus hours at my full-time job. I DoorDash, I Spark, and I just got hired for another part-time job. And it still ain't enough. Like, what do I do now?
Here is my question. How do you afford children? Young families, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so freaking sorry. There are things in Dallas that we want to do, but we don't want to spend $200 to $300 a day to entertain these kids. And it's just not worth it. It was going to be like $180 for the 4 of us to go do something that doesn't even take an hour. And it's not like, yeah, I could pay for it, but like, I don't want to spend almost $200 to go do something that's over in an hour. It's so flippin' expensive to have kids. I have kids. I have 2 grown children, right? So I have been through those years of being a young parent, and you're trying to, like, it's summer and you want to have fun with them, and of course we're doing fun things, but like, you have to make choices because everything is out of control. It's outrageous, just the price of things. I don't know how people do it.
So I made a video a couple weeks ago about how teenagers basically are priced out of everything, like all activities, and that they have nothing to do and nowhere to go, and that they can't really even afford like the bare minimum, which is like going to get even fast food with their friends. And that, you know, sitting at a park and doing nothing can only be fun for so long until you start getting into other things. And I had a lot of people comment, a lot of teenagers and young adults commenting like, yeah, this is my experience. Thank you for hearing me out. Thank you, because this is the reality. And then I had some people commenting like, I don't know where you guys are living, but it's not that expensive. And it's like, okay, first of all, we all live in different places, Europe to America to Canada, blah, blah, blah. And saying that they had similar experiences. The economy has changed everywhere. Like, I'm 26 now. 10 years ago, I was 16. Even then, things were getting really expensive. I was making $7.20 at my first job. And I was working, you know, I was in high school, so I was probably working like, 20 hours a week. And I was still able to afford the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. That was the first thing I bought with my paycheck. I was still able to go out with my friends, McDonald's was $1. I was still able to afford things at the mall. I was able to fill up my gas tank by myself every time. How is this possible now with the money that they're making now at their first teenager job? With the prices that things are now, it is not possible. And moreover, as a lot of people commented, it's so hard to get a job. And I'm not even saying this is just for teenagers. It's the job market is just very hard right now. People with experience already, with multiple years of experience in whatever, are taking entry-level jobs, teenager jobs, fast food jobs, because they can't get hired anywhere else. There is not as many opportunities for teenagers to get jobs. Teenager doesn't have job? Teenager have no money. Teenager have no money? Teenager do nothing. Teenager on phone. Like, does that make sense? We don't want them to be on their phones all day. Like, not one of those people where I'm like, those are the best years of your life. But there is a sweet spot of being a teenager where you have freedom and you have the ability to go out and do things to a certain extent, but you don't have as much responsibility. And that is amazing. And that is such like a short amount of time. When you get older, you look back and you're like, that was amazing, you know?
So going in the store and getting basic necessities like soap and deodorant, the costs outlandish. We used to go in the store and get Dial bars of soap, Secret deodorants under $5, right? Not anymore. I just left Kroger. I normally get like a 2-pack because I hate running out of essentials or, tissues and things like that. So I tend to buy them in bulk. Left out of Kroger, a 2-pack deodorant, $13. In the store yesterday, buying tampons, pads, and things, over $10. Insane right now. Like, what are we gonna do?
This is a vulnerable post, but y'all want to know how it is to be a single mom? I currently have negative $500 in my account. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to pay rent next week. And I've got so many things that are about to head to collections. I'm trying my best to just trust God, but it is hard sometimes. My babies are constantly asking me, Mommy, can you get this? Mommy, can you get that? No, I can't. When I have money, I will. I wish I had enough money to buy them every single freaking thing they ask for. And it is hard to say no. And I feel like I break their little hearts every freaking time I have to say it. I live in a small town, okay? But like, everybody has moved here, so prices are freaking ridiculous. I'm paying right now what 10 years ago was the amount for a really nice 3-bedroom in a brand new apartment.
We spent $136,000 on daycare tuition for my daughter. I'm a 34-year-old mom of 2. I have a 5-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son, and both of my kids have been in full-time daycare since they were 16 weeks old because my husband and I both work full-time. My daughter is heading to kindergarten in August, so we just paid her last tuition bill ever for daycare. And I decided to look back over the last 5+ years and see how much we spent. And we spent a total of $136,435, which averages to about $2,200 per month for the last 5 years. The most we ever paid on a monthly basis for her tuition was $2,545 a month, and that was back when she was an infant, which makes sense because they're so hands-on at that point. There's bottles, there's diapers, there's very few kids per teacher. Theoretically, her monthly tuition should have decreased as she got older because they move up classrooms, they're much less hands-on, so you can have more kids per teacher, but we've been averaging about a 5% tuition increase per year, so we have been paying an average of $2,200 per month every month for the last 62 months. That comes out to about $26,400 per year for daycare tuition. And as a reminder, at the beginning of the video, I said I have 2 kids. So for the last 3 years, when my youngest started daycare, we've been spending on average $53,000 per year on daycare tuition for both of our kids. The average median salary for a woman in the US is $56,600 per year. So it's no wonder that 42% of women who voluntarily left the workforce in 2025 cited caregiving or childcare costs as the main reason for their departure.
am trying to stop crying because I have to teach a lesson in literally 17 minutes. But I just got a notification that my car insurance came out of my account, leaving me not enough to cover my rent.
Population collapse is coming, and we're starting to see the results of this. We're at what's called peak 18-year-old. Indeed, if you're watching this video and you're 18, I feel bad for you. And I really mean that. Why? It used to be that there were always more young people than the older generation before it because population was growing. We're now at a point where there are less young people every generation. And, you know, when we had millennials, we had Gen Z, it was stable. But now with Gen Alpha, it is shrinking, and Generation Bravo is expected to be substantially less. So what they mean by peak 18-year-old, it's that there is only going to be less 18-year-olds moving forward because there are very few young people. Universities will start to go out of business. Certain stores are going to start closing, and there is going to be an economic, reckoning, we'll call it that, because it's not as easy to just say there will be a recession. And I've talked about the economics of population collapse quite a bit. But with what we're currently seeing as it pertains to TPS expiring, Trump now having the right to remove many of these people, there's a question of what happens to an economy when you do not have the workers to expand it.
A recent survey from Northwestern Mutual found 56% of millennials and 72% of Gen Z adults are delaying at least one significant life milestone because of financial challenges. The biggest concern for both groups was buying a home. The median price for a single-family home in the U.S. is $434,900, according to the National Association of Realtors, and those prices just continue to go up. Financial site LendingTree estimates the cost to raise a child from birth to 18 years old is over $300,000. That breaks down to about $17,000 a year, so no wonder young adults are worried about finances.
The anxiety is not going to go away overnight, but I think when we get real clear about our goals and our priorities, I think it becomes that much easier to get there.
Cole Carruthers is a wealth management advisor at Northwestern Mutual. He recommends setting financial goals, figure out what's most important, and meet with a financial advisor about how you can reach those goals. He says we're supposed to have annual checkups for our health, and we should schedule annual checkups for our finances as well.
The dollar has lost 28 to 29% of its purchasing power since 2016. Prices are 40% higher than they were in 2016 based on CPI inflation. Y'all know what that means? That means something that used to cost $1 is $1.40 now. In 10 years, it went up, but that's not the only bad thing. $1 is worth 29% less. 100% of $1 is $1. $1 is worth 70 cents now. What the I'm trying to tell y'all. Not only is it 40% more, but the dollar is 30% less. It's the same dollar bill, but it's worth less. Y'all not getting it. We're getting broker. I told them, I said $10,000 10 years ago and $10,000 today are two different things. $10,000 10 years ago could move mountains. $10,000 today cannot move mountains. And somebody said, what is he talking about, bro? $10,000 is $10,000. No, bro, I don't think you understand. The price of rent for a 2-bedroom at one point was $1,500. Before it was $1,500, it was $1,000. You could get a 2-bedroom house and live for $1,000 a day. $10,000 would have paid your rent for 10 months. $10,000 cannot pay your rent for 10 months today. Do you understand? To get 2+ bedrooms today is $2,000 plus. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That only gets you half of the months it used to get you. But the dollar bill is still the dollar bill. The 5 is still the 5. The 10 is still the 10. But the prices are out of there. And like somebody in chat said, no wage increase. That means whatever your minimum wage is for a regular job, 9 to 5, it didn't go up. If anything, it went down. It's not, oh, y'all make $8, y'all make $7.25. We're going to raise it to 10. Or you in LA, so it's like, yo, it was 10, then we raising it to 20. Nah. It's still 10. It's still 8. It's still $7.25. They're us. We got to lock in. So now you growing up carelessly and you never know these facts, but I'm going to translate it for you. So when I tell you that $10,000 today and $10,000 tomorrow, $10,000 today and $10,000 10 years ago is separate, you're going to be like, oh, it's just 10 years. But no, bro. 2016 was our favorite year. Everybody like to say, yo, that's when Uzi was popping. P&B Rock was out. Everybody, Cardi was prime Cardi. That's when life was lit. No, that's when life was cheap. Cardi. That's when you can pay your rent. That's why 2016 was lit. Because you can have a 2-bedroom house and move out of your mom's house affordably. Now you're looking at it like, how the fuck I'm supposed to do that? You don't even see a vision out of your mom's house now. It's crazy. We live in a place where you need to roommate up with people, aka split the bill. You have to split the bill. Because if y'all don't split the bill, you're not going to have nowhere to stay. So damn near, we used to get our own crib, but damn near, y'all room renting now at this point. Y'all room renting. In 2026, you have to room rent. I get this room, you get this room, and you get this room, and we split it by 3 to afford the one bill. Nobody ever asks, why do people have to roommate? They said, well, it's more convenient to do that, so we're just going to do it. Nobody ever asks, damn, bro, why can't I get my own crib in America? Weird. And don't get me started if you live in New York and LA, and it's like, you definitely roommating.
I know you guys don't want to hear this, but we're fucked. We are so fucking fucked. And I know I cannot be the only one that recognizes that you need at least 2 people in your household to survive. They are crashing this economy. I don't even want to talk about Big Brother watching more and listening more than it ever has and what's going on with that. We cannot even have basic needs met. Housing, vehicle, food, electricity. You cannot do this on your own. And if you do, good for you. But more that I see every day, we're fucked. People are living paycheck to paycheck. People are stressed. People are in pain. People are miserable. And I don't know what the fuck happened or how to fix it. But if you are a single person like me and you're watching this, I know you feel this. You cannot be a single household and survive out here and make it out here. You have to make a choice between rent and car payment, food and rent. Like, what the fuck happened? And what are we going to do about it?